Hello everyone and welcome. Today we'll be taking a look at a couple of highlight viewer submitted matches of StarCraft 2. For map number 1, kicking things off, we're on a 3v3 map, Lost July here. Team number 1, we'll say, occupying the upper right corner, red Terran it is, Whippy. Their purple Terran ally just beside them it is Speedy Rogue. Get out of here, you probes. And one of said probes in question, their teal Protoss ally, it is Sock. I'm guessing. Holy pings. Team number 2 on the other side, the bottom left belongs to a pink Zerg Knight. Or Knight, as I like it. The yellow Zerg ally, it is other Whoopee. Oh, the first one was Whippy. We've got Whippy and Whoopee. Don't get them confused. And wrapping it all up, the final player, a green Protoss, it is Paprika. And rushes abound, it would seem. We've got Proxy, Reaper, one of which who is... I think he's stuck. I don't think he can get out. No, he can't. You had one job. Didn't work. Alright. We've got one sort of Proxy Reaper rush. We've got cannons as well from team number 1. And, oh my gosh, there's more racks over here. Team number 1 pulling out all the cards, ready with some aggression, it would seem. We've got barracks and cannons galore. Team number 2 scrambling for a bit of defense, it would seem. These Zerglings are not going to get a whole lot done. We really need some level of Queen support here. The Queens, they're starting to try to help out. There's also a Stalker. That's an absolutely great option. Unfortunately, it would seem that the cannons have gone neglected thus far. The Zealot, doing about as good as a Zealot can do up against 3 cannons, I suppose. Which again, the Reapers over here not getting a whole lot done. A Spine Crawler Queen combo will shut that down. The cannons starting to encroach ever closer. This is a very early Baneling nest from team number 2, which, if I had to guess, is not actually going to come to fruition. I don't think their plans are going to be quite enacted. Green here, Protoss, really trying to help out, moving some Stalkers all around with 2 Zerg allies. I feel like a lot of the defense is going to come down to this Protoss helping out. The question is, how are they going to be allocating their resources? Fighting both at the same time is incredibly ill-advised. Lack of Queen production, I see, too. Yellow just now starting one up. It's a struggle. It's a disaster. The Reaper count is rising. What has Purple been doing? Purple's been making Reapers, too, just kind of holding them back. Ling speed completes for Pink, which is going to be a rather helpful boon, I will say. Quite necessary in this case. Stalkers actually having a bit of a struggle up against the Reapers. The Reaper count, 9, 10 Reapers for one of them, 7 for another. If they would just combine their forces here. This is one of those situations I could see actually giving control of your army to somebody else. Like, one of you Terrans just dedicates to Reaper micro, the other one goes back and produces, so that you have actually any amount of macro players, because let's be real. Reaper micro, we know, it's going to take priority. The cannons appear to have bullied the Spine Crawler into retreating and the Bane Nest into non-existence, which is usually how that goes, I suppose. Reaper count continuing to rise. Pink's Zerglings having a tough time dealing with them. Probably gonna need some help from their friends. Is Reaper production still continuing? Good grief, you two. Absolutely still continuing in a triple factory. Yes, the good old one base economy, triple factory. I wasn't producing for a little bit. Yep. We got it. Okay, look at all this money I have. I can afford everything. I don't think so. The cannons. Now, I'm not going to be able to inch a whole lot closer. Now they're just going to kind of look scary. They provide a bit of intimidation advantage there. Any intimidation checks going on in this game. Purple's Reapers find their way into the drone line, which is going to be disastrous for the pink Zerg here, who still has not been able to expand. Yellow, though. Well, look, green appears to be cleaning up these Reapers quite handily. Will be dealt with. Yellow was able to slip out a couple of expansions, it would seem. Was this an early drone? Was it a dropper lord? There is a lair. I can't rule out the possibility of a dropper. Definitely good, though. Yellow not out of this, actually. I mean, contesting for the most amount of supply. How are they doing on the workers? 36. Good God, purple cranking out 43 SCVs behind all of this. Speedy Road coming in with some macro. Green will eventually clean all of this up. The cannons will be dealt with. Green, I'm assuming you're going to get blink at some point, right? You have a Twilight. You've got 20 stalkers. You also got 20 probes, so I can understand prioritizing things a little bit and maybe get an expansion up and running. Purple decides to expand down here where the proxy barracks were. That's a lot of Zerglings for these Reapers to deal with. Lay down some grenades. Help yourself remember what it is to be a flying unit. Uh-oh, the stalkers show up. Everyone was having fun. It's all fun and games till the Protoss shows up. Oh yeah, that one siege tank's really gonna get him. Put that siege tank in siege mode quick. Oh, retreat call will be sounded. The proxy barracks will be dealt with. But do they know? Do they find the expansion? They do not. They do not. The expansion goes undetected, unscouted. Oh, purple. Undoubtedly, the blood pressure was rising there. Just like their mineral count. They need to be working on a plan here. They seem to be working on a plan. They're getting 4 starports. What are those going to be for? APM's all around, looking pretty solid, actually. It's been a bit of an action-packed game. Everybody's been quite a bit active here. The Reds unleashing their mech tech, 5 tanks, couple Hellions, double armory on the way. Green quite upset with how all of the first 8 minutes of the match went, decides now is go time. Some Zerglings make their way into Purple's mineral line, which is going to hurt a little bit, but not hurt terribly much. Purple, of course, we know is floating a fair bit of money right now. I think they can stand to lose a little bit for this moment. Roach Zergling will be dealt with. Another Protoss on the field here. Whipping out some Void Rays. Are we going to get the team game Protoss style composition? Void Ray carriers? Oh, I think so. Extra Stargates, a fleet beacon. Oh, the Overlords, they find it. The base will be discovered. It's almost a planetary, too. They were making it into a planetary. Quite nice. Roaches scuttling as fast as they can. Stalkers, finally, we're working on Blink. You chrono this. You have full energy on the Nexus. Come on. Oh god, it's a micro turn. The Stalkers, they will of course deal with this reasonably well. You don't need to focus fire all 20 on the SCVs, but you can do it on the planetary. Purple's base will be destroyed, will be dealt with, and before high-sec auto-tracking will be completed, what are we gonna do? We can't go on without high-sec auto-tracking. It'd tell me there's another NG bay, at least. No, there's no more engineering bay. I know, most Terrans, they don't know how to function without high-sec auto-tracking. Did you get any other upgrades first? No, of course not, because high-sec auto-tracking is the requirement, right? Ugh, good grief, you poor thing, this poor Terran. This is the true plight of Terrans. This is what they've been telling us for years. All this abuse. For shame. Luckily, though, they do have a fusion core on the way. They will be able to bounce back in true Terran fashion with battle cruisers. The Mutas are here suddenly. Mutas, I did not notice that. The Roach player has decided to go for Mutas. The Pink player has decided to go for a ton of drones, it would seem, because the only thing they've really lost is Zerglings. I'm sorry, are we just now getting a lair? It's almost 12 minutes. Holy macro. They're making 4 hatcheries at a time. Here, the Mutas find the main base planetary. Okay. Well, that explains why I didn't see any mules at the hidden expansion, at least. Muta's really causing a bad day. Unsafe work conditions, if I've ever seen them. Starports trying to kick into production. There's no gas, though. There's just no Vespine. Look at the issue. We went 4 starport battle cruiser with only 2 gases mining. Oh, no. I don't know what that is, but I think it has to do with hydralisks. That's my guess. Probably that kind of hydralisk, at least. Hydra. Turn this into an orbital. Good grief, problems all around. I'm sorry, are you making more starports? Production shows a starport somewhere. Really? You were trying to make more starports? You can't even afford to use 2 of your 4. God, there's another fusion core, replacement fusion core coming up somewhere. The Void Rays are making an aggressive move over on the far left side here. Upgrades. They got +1 attack. They've got flux veins for their speedy getaway. But not speedy like, speedy. Speedy like Zoom. That's speedy. This is the speedy that speedily spends their 200 Vespine. This is the speedy that speedily zooms out of existence, apparently, because the Void Rays are not dealing with the Stalkers very well. The Stalkers, they do finally have Blink. No other upgrades, but we're working on it. We're an army production kind of Protoss. Okay, ground toss. I don't need no pesky upgrades. Red, content to just make a lot of siege tanks, and unfortunately they haven't quite gotten their StarCraft 7 upgrade to fight up against Mutas, or they just kind of tilt the cannon up enough to get the Mutas to fly over them, and then you can shoot them. I think that would be rather interesting. That'd be an enticing upgrade or research. As time goes on, things are looking more and more bleak for team number 1, I feel. Really need something, some kind of anchor. I think red should be adding on 4s, first and foremost. Purple probably should just go bio at this point. I mean, all you've got really is a lot of minerals. I guess you could try to make a bunch of marines. But things are not looking great, is what I'm trying to get at here. Thank goodness we didn't turn that one into a planetary. We were able to lift it off and move it about 100 feet to the east before it met its demise. The Void Ray Siege Tank combo is going to work disgustingly well up against a ground Zerg army. The Liberators. Freedom has arrived. The battle cruiser operational, as well as just the one. It's the one battle cruiser. Okay. Red continuing to make any unit that can't shoot up from the factory. Widow Mines, even. Come on. Something. Something that can shoot up. We're hard supply blocked at 101. No Thors, no Widow Mines. Instead, we're going for Hellion Siege Tank on the other side. I see Ultras coming online. Pink deciding to make a non-drone shaped unit. Oh, they're the ones that are whipping out the Hydralisks, too. lovely Brood War Hydralisk skin, too. I heard a warp. A little late to the party, but I guess better late than never. I suppose you can at least pretend you were participating. Blue Flame Hellions try to get the dash, the aggressive dash, the lunge forward. Oh my god. Somebody got Hive Tech and hit the Hydralisk button, is having fun with it. Teal rounding out that team game Protoss composition. Carriers about to arrive. Wait for it. Carrier has arrived. There we go. Alright. And now we can see how 2 carriers deal with this growing threat. Ultra Hydra. An illegitimate composition, you might say. I laugh at you. Ultra Hydra. It's a fun composition, and it can get the job done. Little pricey, though. But little steep there. Would love to see a couple Vipers added in, but we're gonna get there. All 3 working together. Hydra, Stalker, Muta, dealing with the siege tanks. The carrier exiting the field just as quickly as he entered it. The siege tanks retreat and try to siege up, but the Ultras and the Stalkers on top of them. GG's will be called, will go out. Team number 2 surviving the early game madness, ready to macro up and take the fight to their opponents. Well done. Well-earned victory, entertaining match. Thank you, of course, for the submission. That is not all for today, though, folks. Onwards now to the next match. For the second match of the day, we find ourselves on the 1v1 map, Frostline here. A Terran player landing into the bottom left corner. Red SCVs, it is Masio PL. And their Protoss opponent, the blue probes, warping and controlling the upper right. It is Fonte. Banty. I kinda like Fonte. My brain wants to say Fanta, like the beverage that probably isn't good for us, but an E, of course, at the end, so gotta work with what I'm given, I suppose. This is a Terran versus Protoss, which means there is already a probe on the other side, causing a bit of havoc, a bit of chaos, shenanigans even. Although it would appear he's heading home. Are you heading home? You are. You are heading home. Here is home. Home is where the metal plate is. Yeah. That's how that phrase goes, I'm sure. TVP. Level, you might be wondering. I saw one of these players was ranked Masters, which means I got to see their MMR in the loading screen. It was about 2100, which means that good old Masters ranking bug is still around, still exists. Good to know. Good to have that refresher, I suppose. If you're like, what Masters rank bug? I have a video somewhere. I try to find it, I suppose. There's an MMR. There was an MMR issue, I want to say a few years ago, where Masters 3 was suddenly encompassing the ranks of Masters, of course, or legitimately Silver, Gold, and maybe Platinum MMRs. So if you were in those MMR brackets, you might also be thrown into Masters instead. Not fighting Masters players, of course. I mean Masters in border only. So you get the fancy border around your portrait, you get the star under your portrait, and everybody gets to see your MMR in all of its glory. So thank you for that, one of you at least, letting me see that. So thank you very much, helping me identify what I'm working with here. I could have also shown the APM charts. We know how good it's looking. We also know this Terran is not looking at the Reaper for a split second, and for that I want to say thank you. Good job, Sir Terran. Now quit it. Okay. Oh, you're producing behind it. Okay, I can't say quit it then. If you're actually producing behind it, I will allow it. Oh god, the probes, the disaster, the destruction, the devastation, the damage. Are there any other D words? The calamity. We can we'll go with it. It's fine, it'll be okay. The Reaper, I usually would like to say we don't pay this much attention to it, because it should be essentially just a scout. Just a cameraman of sorts wanting to identify what the opponent is doing. You actually do get to do that, scout the Stargate, and relatively get out without losing the Reaper. What? I mean, huh? Like, and you somewhat produced behind it. Yes, our command center is a little idle right now, but there was a moment in there I saw production going on behind it, so I can't even be mad about this. Well done, Sir Terran. Protoss, how are you doing? I've been praising the Terran so far this round. Things are, I'd say, coming together. We're going Stargate, which feels like both the correct and overly ambitious choice for our Protoss compadre here. Oracle, they know. They're like, Oracles are really good, yes. I thought this was Warpgate at first, so my mind just, like, kind of pushed it out and was like, oh good, that's fine, they're getting Warpgate. This is not Warpgate. This is +1 air attack. Really? +1 air? Up against a Terran? What are we doing? The Oracle is moving in, getting a few kills, will absolutely be successful. Terran player neglecting their initial Cyclone for defensive purposes, instead opting for a Thor. Happy Thursday, gents. Yes, welcome. A quick 3rd CC and a Thor. The creativity is showing itself. On the bright side, I can describe this build as my quick Thord CC. Yes, perfection. This is what it's going to go down in history. Ah yes, the good old stim is complete. 3 Marauder timing attack wombo combo obliterates the Stalker. Jeez. Stimming, I would be a little careful on that stim button. But if they're going to keep feeding you Stalkers, I suppose it's okay to keep eating. An all-you-can-eat Stalker buffet for these Marauders. The probes unfazed with their plight. The Oracle called back home. We did not recall, but we did eventually get there. Oracle just barely cleans up the Marauders before running out of energy. Well done on that front. +1 air attack about to complete will benefit the Void Rays that we were attempting to make before we had to fix that supply issue. A fleet beacon on the way. Okay. Ah yes, quick. More things from the gateways. Yes. Because our gateway units have been doing so well so far. Yes. All 3 Stalkers sent to the grinder. Unfortunately, this isn't the Yuri faction from Red Alert. You don't get money for throwing things into that grinder. No, instead we just get comedy. We just laugh at you, I suppose, which is a benefit to us, especially to me. I quite enjoy viewer games and all of the wonderful decisions that go along with them. Such as adding on 2 more Stargates. Yes, let's double our Stargate production. You do have a bit of excess money. I cannot even be mad. The only thing I can be mad about is you weren't producing for a second, but we're going for Void Rays. That's the choice. Legacy of the Void Ray campaign. Tainting Protoss decisions for quite some time. Have you played through the Legacy of the Void campaign? In a normal, non-modded setting for the campaign. Void Rays, really, just you can obliterate every mission, which is pure Void Ray. It's quite nuts, actually. Pick him up. Oh god, get the cannons ready. The cannons, they're not going to be overly helpful up against Oracles and Void Rays. If the Protoss player decides to jump up the tech tree and go for carriers, definitely. However, up until then, the splash damage option might actually be better in case this Protoss decides to clump them up. What are we doing? Bunny, is this you? Come on. Like, who did you learn this from? I swear this is a bunny move. Luckily for you, you're not playing up against a Protoss player that understands basic Protoss PvT builds and would have Blink done at this point, because you would flat out lose these medevacs. The Thors, they get it. They destroy the building next. Can I get that one more time? Okay. So, you bring in the Thors, drop them down. We annihilate the Nexus. Make him regret even considering building a Nexus. Lift him up. Just in time. Thank gosh. You microed yourself into a bad spot there. If the Thors had been in their splash damage mode and actually could fight back, maybe. Okay, you had 2 Thors. I think that was about 4 Void Rays, roughly. Maybe. But, nope. Not happening that time. Okay. The Protoss player gets to throw down their 3rd Nexus again. Gets to take it with a bit more confidence, I'm sure. Pylons being constructed additionally so that we can make more Void Rays, because we're going to, the Void Rays, they're working pretty well. Void Ray thing's not half bad, Sir Indigos. And I go, yeah, they're not half bad. They're probably about 2/3 bad, maybe 3/4, depending on what you're fighting. I had a Terran once. It's been a while since I had a Terran make a decision this good. Battle cruisers in TVP. I was like, are you really giving me the license to make Void Rays? Like, I can't even make fun of myself here. Well, come on. It was great. Oracle swooping in for another round of SCV slaughter. 19-20 kills and counting. The Thor's here to shut it down, though. Cease your transgressions. The Oracle will be destroyed. Sent back to the void from which it spawned. They're Nerazim, right? Oracles, I'm pretty sure they're Nerazim. So yeah, they don't go to the Kala. They go to the... Although I don't think anybody goes to the Kala anymore. We're all Dark Templar now, I suppose. Thanks, Artanis. Real big help. Void Ray production continuing on the other side. Our Terran Compoundre seems to have found their favorite unit and favorite day of the week. Thank you for the combo. Happy Thursday indeed. We're getting a Raven, which feels like a choice. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's for detection only. And I'm gonna also give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not going to put it on the same control group or all army hotkey just to fly it into the Void Rays. If you really want to impress me though, anti-armor missile those Void Rays. You anti-armor missile these Void Rays, and I will take everything back. I will eat my words and I will label this a grand replay. We will see it. We'll see how this goes. You know my bet, though. It's in the same control group. It's just going to get flown in and destroyed. But I give him the chance. I try to be a fair, just arbiter in all of this. Impress me. You have your opportunity. I have laid down my criteria. Two Ravens for twice the possibility. Anti-armor missile. Bring it. I think they're both macroing. I think we can speed this up a little bit. They're both taking macro turns. We're going to end up having Thors versus Sky Toss. And not like true Sky Toss, like toss in the sky Toss. That's all that is. A lot of Void Rays, carriers coming online.
We got the double cyber core air upgrades. Who needs warp gate when I can get 3 air upgrades? Map. Random adept showing herself, trying to get a bit of work done. The Terran, have you decided, is now the time? 182 supply roughly. Thor's starting to join up here. How's our mech upgrades? We got 2 too. Showed the Roxu's boss. Oh, I think it might be go time. Okay. We got +3 on the way. Army units just now finishing production. We're almost maxed out. The splash damage option is chosen. Those cannons are gone. Alright. Moment of truth, lads. Who wins today? I think on paper the Thors should win. Let's see if the Terran player micros themselves into defeat. Alright. Watching the Ravens too. I'm keeping an eye on the Ravens for my challenge here, my criteria. We shall see. They're all on the same group though. I am quite convinced. The Ravens. Oh my god, the Thor slaughter. Desecration on those Void Rays. Oh my gosh, did you even lose any? I lost a few, okay. Lost a few, but god bless, that was a one-sided battle. 6 carriers on the way, but carriers don't deal with Thors particularly well, and I think this Protoss knows it. They are tapping out. A GG is called. A well-earned victory to the Terran, I will say. Yeah, a little bit of a Thor opener blunder, but at the end of it, the late-game Thor decision turned out to be quite for the best, yeah, shall I say. Should we double-check the Ravens? They didn't do anything. I saw it. You saw it. We don't need to. But fine, we'll go back, we'll slow it down, just for you, so that you can see it again. So, the Thors, they're itching, they're moving around the Ravens, they stare angrily at the Nexus, and then they fly over here, and they die. Sadly. Horribly. Horrifically. We're just gonna watch the Protoss get dumpstered again, apparently. Thanks. Yep, that's going fine. Alright. And that will do it for today. So thank you to everyone who submitted. Thank you to everyone who joined in. Had a blast. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.